Welcome back. I'm still with the KPMG chairperson, Professor Wiseman Nkuhlu, an old hand in leadership positions. He has been responsible for a variety of endeavors, and I will be touching on those in the financial services sector as well as in your profession, economic advisory and so on, even advisor to the president. So I can hold you accountable for so many different things.
During my term.
Well, you are here now as an elder for that matter, so we'll listen to you. What's going to happen now to the people who are going to be laid off? Have they been laid off already from KPMG, and how are you managing that?
They have been laid off, and where possible, we assist them, manage the clients that possibly were in that area. And in other cases, the other KPMG network company firms in other countries, Australia, India, and so on, they have vacancies. Some of them we encourage them to go there. So there's a variety of things, and we have tried to really make sure that there is no animosity, hostility, and that we continue to interact with them and help them where we can.
Now, obviously, there's a fallout from this experience at KPMG, which is affecting the professional generally. How are the other companies affected, and are you interacting with them in order to make sure that the reputation of the profession itself is restored and protected?
Yes, Tim. Actually, this morning I was at SAICA, where we were discussing the governance of the profession, and I actively participating in that to talk about how do we regain respectability. In other words, restore public trust in the profession. So I'm taking part in a number of forums of that kind. So in KPMG in particular, we continue to engage our clients to understand what measures would really enable them to regain confidence in us. And in that process, we think we have clarity on the issue of audit quality and integrity. It is for this reason that not long ago, I championed that we conduct special integrity checks . That we have in mind about reassuring them that we take the issue of audit quality seriously.
We hear from politicians, the president, cabinet ministers about lifestyle audits being conducted on public sector employees and even politicians themselves.
Yes.
How would they look like? Will they ever be done? What do they mean when they talk? What do you understand this lifestyle audit to be? Actually?
Yes.
From your experience, where would you start if you had to do that? Anyway?
Yes. With most professional organizations, audit firms in particular, it is a standard thing that you make a declaration once every year of that you are independent. In other words, you or your spouse does not have shares of financial interest in the companies that are serviced by the firm, and also that you are not involved as a supplier to the company, and so on and so on. Those declarations are done every year. What we have done this time is that in addition to the declaration being done voluntarily and being logged in, we said we want the process of integrity checks to be managed by an outside firm. We are actually using the services of an independent legal firm, and also you are going to make the declaration. After we have made the declaration, they are empowered to go and verify. So they will go where you, if you say we have no shares or directorship that would cause conflict or undermine your independence, they will go to the company registration office to check where your name appears, and so on. Again, they will go and check and conduct credit checks on you. It's important that this process be done independently by an organization of integrity, so that they would really be trusted by third parties.
But you see, and I'll go back to the public sector, and I know you are very familiar.
I've been in the private sector. Public sector.
Yes. So we hear that there are top government officials, for instance, who are working for the government and doing business with government. Some have declared, but more than 700 have not declared. And there's nothing that happens. From your experience and where you're sitting, talking about the probity issues, what do you think should be done then? What should be happening?
Tim, I think in my view, we as the audit profession, we have a responsibility to hold and abide by even higher ethical standards than any other profession, because society look to us to enhance the trust of whatever reports come from those who manage. That is the first thing. So really, I believe that when a process like that is initiated and people who hold certain positions are called upon to make those declarations, there must be consequences. Those who don't declare fully, there must be follow-up, and there must be consequences, including losing their jobs, disciplinary action. Because if it becomes a condition of your employment, that you must make those declarations and you fail to do them truthfully, there must be consequences. That's the only way we can actually address these problems.
It's been very difficult in South Africa, right? We've spoken about...
There's been no consequences.
Yeah, and we're still focused on the public sector more, but we've seen certain things happen in the private sector. Steinhoff comes to mind.
Yes.
You think of VBS as well. And again, it looks like everything else, or in those two instances at least, it goes back to the auditing and the accounting side of things. What are your comments on VBS and Steinhoff matters?
Yes, you know, actually, both cases, in my view, have to do with something that we as a profession we need to address. There's the issue I referred to earlier on, this competition between pursuit of a commercial interest. More fees, and finding it difficult to part with a client, even if when there are difficult things. And whereas in our profession, that should be balanced with our commitment to serve the public. In other words, when you do an audit, you are not only going to have a responsibility to report to the client, you have to report to those who invest in this. You must always look after the interests. So really, within the audit profession, I think what happens over time is that the auditors, the engagement partners who actually do the work, possibly familiarity does develop between them and the leadership of the firm. They become less skeptical and not ask the difficult questions. And even when they ask the difficult questions, they simply don't take action when even the answers are not satisfactory. So within the firms, the solution is making sure that this, what we call an engagement quality control review processes, be strengthened. And they should also be managed in a way that ensures their independence, so that there is proper accountability by the partners who face the client and are subjected to certain pressures by the client, and also the possibility of familiarity that get into the picture, and they become less skeptical and end up compromising themselves on things that really they should not accept, if you know, because they don't comply with
Prof,
integrity.
I want to hear your comments. You've championed transformation in business and empowerment, and VBS comes to mind here, much as the pace of transformation is still slow, or basically stopped at some point, it appears. Now, the damage that you think the VBS matter has caused the transformation agenda, your views? I mean, there's been talk that we need to have a black-owned bank. You've been there before. You know the importance of this thing. So, and the way VBS was managed, and also just your broad comments on the transformation agenda in the country?
No, I must say, Tim, I'm devastated by VBS in many respects. As you know, I was managing a small bank for more than 10 years. I'm very proud of the fact that when I left, when the financial crisis in 2008 forced us to sell, all our shareholders got their money. There were no scandals about executives stealing the money and so on, as it happened in VBS. So the issue of VBS is very devastating. And again, it's also on our side, especially as Africans, we should react appropriately and make sure that there are consequences for those guys. But avoid stereotypes that African leaders, Africans cannot lead banks. That will be very, very unfortunate. You know, even in my case at KPMG, what I found very devastating was the fact that our partner, who was leading the engagement with VBS, happened to be black. And I was very proud of him. He was the highest ranking black auditor there, in charge of all financial service audit of KPMG. I was very proud of him. But again, as I say, for me, people can have different interpretations. But I think sometimes when people reach that level of success, I plead that the checks and balances must not be relaxed. Even if you are top, you are president, whatever, there must be the normal verification. We should not take it on trust that you'll always uphold ethical standards and uphold high professional quality standards in doing your work. Because for me, the VBS on our side, there may be other reasons of greed and so on, but I feel that this is something that one must also guard against, is that when people are high, have achieved, the tendency is to say they know what to do. They have this track record behind them. And therefore, what's the point of verifying their work and all that, and we relax. And we find that, I'm afraid, temptation has no age. Even if you're old, temptation to get more material gains is always there, whatever the motives are. But we are human beings, it's always there. So those are the lessons from me that I've learned for there. But we shouldn't say that on transformation, as you know, we are not where we should be. And one of the things that I intend, of course, to do at KPMG is to use these crises we find ourselves, among other things, to really make sure that on transformation, KPMG moves to the front in terms of reaching the 51% black shareholding, you know, in the next 3 years. This is a unique opportunity, but of course, it can't be transformation for the sake of transformation. The reason I'm saying that with confidence is because that I know that there are many highly qualified, knowledgeable, experienced black chartered accountants out there that I can recruit and actually use them as a base for rebuilding KPMG. And this is what I'm about.
Professor Wiseman Nkuhlu, a pleasure to talk to you and have
you, Tim.
On the couch. So
with pleasure.
We appreciated hosting you.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
That's Professor Wiseman Nkuhlu. He is the chairperson of KPMG. And after the break, we will be taking a look at the upcoming Zimbabwe elections with independent analyst and constitutional law expert Brian Kagoro.